YouTube, it's Aiden. Reminder, if you want a lesson with me, link in the description. Today we're going to talk about this really simple rule about the way brass instruments work that can help you tune things and figure things out. And basically the rule is, if a position works in one register, it'll work in every register above that. So the example that I just played was that you can play low D or pedal D. I guess we'll talk about pedal D because that's the lowest possible one, in the valve position, F attachment plus fourth position with a valve, or it's around actual fifth position. That's just where it is. And when it works on pedal D, it also works on low D, and it also works on D in the staff, and it also works on D above the staff, and it also works on high D above that, 2 octaves above the staff. And how is that useful? Well, one, it's nice to have alternate positions sometimes. I can't say I've ever used D with the F attachment in the staff, but sometimes maybe you need to do a trill or something above the staff. And just knowing that you can use the same position anytime above the original octave that it's intended for, that can be really handy. The way I find it most useful is that it's a good way to tune things. A lot of people ask questions about low register, not being able to play loud, or they don't like how it sounds or whatever. And a lot of times that's just down to not having things in tune. And of course the low register is difficult because it's harder to hear, especially if you're not super good at playing it, it's hard to hear the center of those pitches. So someone might play low D a little bit sharp, and then if they try and play that loud, they just can't get it in tune, it doesn't feel right. And this happens all the time in like lessons and stuff. I'll just see kids constantly, they just keep trying to tune this lower octave and not thinking, oh hey, I can just use the octave above. Okay, there's a comfortable D in fourth with no F attachment. We know where that is. And then all you do is put down the valve and move to the position where it should be, down an octave. And guess what? It still works. And typically, not exactly, but intonation across octaves is usually pretty good. So you don't have to worry about adjusting for D up an octave as opposed to down an octave. It's pretty much should be in exactly the same place. And that's exactly how I tune my valves, for instance. I tune to F in the staff. Tune that just a tiny bit sharp to F in the staff, so that's the same. Instead of trying to tune, I don't have a reference for that low F other than just my ears, and I can't really trust those all the time, so I tune to F in the staff, that's my F, and then to tune the other note, I like to have a good D in first position, even though I rarely use it. I like to have a D in first position because that means both valves are around where I want them. Guess what? There's a D in first position above the staff. And if I put down both valves, I get the same note. And I can tune to a note that I know is there. It's not perfectly in tune. Usually that D is a little bit low on if you're not playing like a Shires and Edwards. But it's a really good reference point that I can easily hear rather than trying to tune something that is a lot harder to hear without a reference. So, if you're having trouble playing low, if you're having trouble trying to center things, if you don't really know where your slide's supposed to go for like low C, you have a lot of different ways you can play that in the staff or even above the staff. You have another position. There's just tons of different ways you can tune these things so you can actually hear them, find out where you're supposed to put your slide, use that brain a little bit, and play those things up in octaves so you can hear them. See you guys next time.